Okay, in this video I'll be refurbishing this Nvidia Quadro K2000 that I found from the recycling center a couple of weeks ago. So I made a separate video on that where I introduce you to the card and so and how I found it and stuff. So for the link to that video will be in the description and in the card above. And I have an album full of uh, recycling center finds, so if you're into that kind of thing you can go check them out. The links are in the description as well. I also, in the previous video, I did a refurbishment of a Quadro 2000. Now, this is the K2000, the older version, the 2000, which also I found from the recycling center. I did a refurbishment of that, so you can go check it out. The link's in the description as usual and in the card above. So now let's get started on the Quadro itself, Quadro 2000. Also, don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more content from me. So I'll start undoing these screws here. This card was pretty dusty. I think this was from an old HP or Dell workstation that broke. So I saw the computer, but I don't know what the card was doing out of it. I must have separated because the computer was busted, but the card was good. So I just took it since it's open to everyone. And I was quite lucky to find this card and the Quadro 2000. I found this first and the 2000 later. So let me get this out of here. I'll fast forward to the video when I get this plug out. It's kind of stuck. Okay, so I got the plug out. It was kind of stuck there, so I got it out. So now let's take the heatsink off. Oh, something seems to be stuck. Let me just check that out. Oh right, there's a screw on the end as well. I didn't notice that. That's kind of odd. Like usually it's the 4 screws, but there's a screw here as well. So I'll get rid of that as well. It's not a spring-loaded screw, but it's one of those screws without the spring. So I'll leave that aside. Take this off. Huh. Pretty small copper contact for such a large card. And you can see there's a heat pipe going through it like that. Single heat pipe. So that's the card itself. It's shorter than the Quadro 2000 for some reason. But it's way more advanced. It's got 2 gigs of GDDR5. So I think we got 1 gig here, 2 gigs here. So that's the card itself. We'll keep that to aside for now. Let's open the heat sink and fan. I'm pretty sure this is full of dust, so let's be careful while opening. I'll undo these screws. I've never opened a Quadro K2000 before, so this is new. I have opened 2000 before, like even before I did my one. I refurbished a friend's card, so I know what that was, but how am I gonna get this off? What's the mechanism behind this? I'm sure this is not a screw. But anyway, I have to get that off. I'll figure it out and come back to the video and explain how I took it off, because that might take a while. So I think I figured it out. The screws at the top, these 6 screws, they're also removable. I thought they were not. I thought they were just like just attention to detail, like just detail stuff, like what do I call it, aesthetics. Like on the 2000, the 2000 card has just fake screws for just aesthetic purposes, but these screws could actually be opened, so that's why I was having a hard time taking them out. So I'll get that out of there. I never knew that the screws on top were that you could actually take them out. So that's why I was having a hard time opening it. So let's get rid of these 6 screws. They don't seem to come out easily, but so let's just unscrew them. Okay, so then the shroud comes off, and holy shit, that is pretty dusty. So keep that to the side. And we have our fan here. It's separated from the rest of it. It's the heatsink. Smaller heatsink than the Quadro 2000. Again, surprising. But I guess it's more efficient, so it produces less heat. I don't know. So yeah, so either way, I'll just go ahead and clean all of this damn dust off it, off the heatsink, the fan, and the casing, and I'll come back to the video. Alright, so as you can see here, I've done cleaning the heatsink, the shroud, and the fan. So they're all clean and good now. Fan spins a bit better than before as well. So now let's just put them back together. So I believe the heatsink went like that. Or is it the other way around? Yeah, it's the other way around. So the fan, you gotta get this in. Which way did it go? I think it went this way. Yep, this way. And this, the cable that runs for the fan's power supply, kind of gets in the way sometimes. So I was wondering if there a way I can tape it down or something. But I guess when it hits against the shroud, it's gonna compress on itself. So let's put it in. I'll just cut to the video when I get all this in place, and I've done tightening the screws, so because this aligning this will take a while. Okay, I've done assembling the whole PC, the cooling shroud here, the whole cooling unit, and I cleaned up the copper pad over there. So let's keep that to the side and look at the graphics card itself. Let me get a closer look at that. That's the Quadro K2000. Let me clean that up and be right back. Alright, so I've done cleaning that up. As you can see there, that's the Quadro K2000, the chip itself there. So let me just get it a quick wipe again. It's smaller than the 2000, the Quadro 2000. Well, that's expected. The chip is more advanced. Technically, it's like that. The more smaller it gets, the more advanced. I don't know. But let me zoom in there. So, because we are now going to apply the thermal paste, which is Deep Cool Z5. I got this from Newegg for like $4 when it was on sale. It seems to be always on sale, so it's always $4. So yeah. So just a drop of it. We'll be using way less than we did on the Quadro 2000 because that was a bigger card and a bigger chip as well. So just a tad bit. Never apply too much thermal paste. That should be enough. Maybe just a bit more. Yeah. Yep. That's enough. Let's close this. I'll close that. Okay. So that's done. So we have a drop of thermal paste there. Just a bit. You never apply too much. And now let's put the heatsink back on, the shroud. So let's see if I've tightened all the nuts properly, just to be sure. So there's my screwdriver head. It's over there. Oh, I haven't tightened a couple of screws. Okay, just let's tighten these again. The big screws at the bottom, so they don't come off. Okay, so I think we're good to go now. Everything seems to be clean, everything seems to be wiped down and no dust. So I'll get my screws ready here. So first let's plug in the cable, the connector, the fan power connector. Okay, so that's done. So now here comes the tricky part. Always with these Quadro cards you gotta be quick because they don't have a locking mechanism. So what I like to do is I just flip the card upside down, align it with the screws. Where are they? are them screws. Okay, align it with the screws and drop it so that the thermal paste doesn't get messed up later. So turning it upside down helps. But don't worry, the thermal paste is not going to fall off. It's quite thick grease-like stuff, so it doesn't fall off that easily. So don't worry about that. So just do the screws diagonally like that, so that it's an even. You apply even pressure, so that, well, applying even pressure is good, and then mainly the thermal paste can set evenly. Put this screw in as well, this extra screw. Still don't know why they put that extra screw in there. It's totally useless though, in my eyes, but I think it probably has a purpose. But I think those 4 screws are enough to hold this whole cooler in place, because the cooling part isn't that heavy. Oops, I dropped the screw. I'm back. Okay, I hate when that happens. Okay, screws in place. Just tighten it down. And like I said earlier, it's not spring loaded, that screw, so it's not a part of the CPU. It's got nothing to do with the GPU itself. It's usually, for some reason, all the GPU mounting screws are spring loaded. So let's tighten it down. Make sure they're not too tight or not too loose. And that's it. So that's the refurbishment of the Nvidia Quadro K2000. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more content from me. And check out all those playlists and other videos I mentioned before. The links will be in the description, and I put a couple of cards above throughout the video so you can check them out. And yeah, thumbs up.